This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, a heroic rural fire service volunteer dies, leaving a close-knit community devastated.
Protesters take to the main street of Byron Bay, demanding more action on climate change.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, the Optus boss apologises for the nationwide outage while defending the telco's response. And dozens of cars smashed in a wild stolen car chase.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. Tributes are flowing for a rural fire service volunteer who lost his life while fighting a blaze near Walgett.
Captain Leo Franson was a husband and a father from the Manning Great Lakes region who had only just begun his 3-day deployment. Hannah Hardup joins us live now at Diamond Beach. And Hannah, you've got more on this devastating news.
Nick, Captain Franson, was struck by a tree whilst fighting the Hudson Fire. He was taken to a Lightning Ridge medical facility where he later died. It's the second death of a New South Wales RFS volunteer in action this year.
Remembered as a local hero.
Loved the community, loved the RFS. His life revolved around that and he was much loved.
Diamond Beach RFS captain Leo Franson has died after being struck by a tree while battling the Hudson Fire near Lightning Ridge.
It's an awful thing, and it's one of these things that we put so much emphasis on it, but no one quite knows when things like a tree is going to let go, and it's really difficult on everyone.
Leo was part of the Mid-Coast strike team, sent to help contain the Hudson blaze that has burnt more than 21,000 hectares and destroyed 6 buildings.
He's travelled hundreds of kilometres to support a community just because he knows that he can, and he has paid the ultimate price for that and made the ultimate sacrifice.
The 75-year-old was a life member of the Diamond Beach Brigade, joining back in 2010.
He would have worked on the 1920 bushfires in the district, and he was actively involved in any fire. He was first to arrive at station and been the first on the truck.
His death felt deeply across the community, with members of the public going to Facebook to share their condolences. Both the local brigade and Leo's family have asked for privacy during this time.
Leo's passing comes just weeks after the death of fellow RFS volunteer John Holmes, who died while fighting a blaze in Kyogle. This is a tragic reminder of the daily risks faced by firefighters when protecting our local communities.
The 70,000 volunteers who give up their time to protect our communities are absolutely heroic.
As the rain fell across the mid-North Coast today, a final nod to Leo for a job well done.
One would hope so that it was coming down from Leo, and Leo sent this rain down to keep all our communities safe.
Hannah Hardup, 7 News.
An upgrade to Balliner's Bruxner Highway has been shelved by the federal government as part of widespread cuts to infrastructure spending. It sparked fears that locally the decision is going to cost lives.
It's a stretch of road with a fatality and serious injury rate more than 8 times higher than the state average. Now, federal funding for the planning of an upgrade to the Bruxner Highway from Wollongbar to Gunnellabar has been taken off the table. The government announcing it will be one of 50 projects to lose funding as the result of a review into infrastructure spending.
Many projects lacked proper planning, didn't have informed costings and weren't ready for Commonwealth investment.
But local representatives say the cuts couldn't have come at a worse time. The project was relying on $6.8 million in federal funding to assess options to improve the stretch of road.
We're about to go on exhibition with this on route options, and to have it axed at this critical point in time when so much planning has taken place, it beggars belief.
About 9,000 cars use the highway between Ballina and Lismore each day, with about 10% of traffic being heavy vehicles.
Because the stats aren't going to get any better. I mean, vehicle usage on this road is just going to increase.
Traffic can be a bit slow going around those corners and stuff.
I think the worst bit is that where you go down the Lindendale Road where the service station is.
Fears that if the decision isn't reconsidered, it could cost lives.
If this federal government think that this is the way to prove their financial management, they need to think again, because all this is going to do is kill people.
Claire Morton, 7 News.
Member for Mile Lakes, Tanya Thompson, has launched a new petition calling for a roundabout at the intersection of the Lakes Way and Falford Road. Tanya Thompson says there needs to be better road safety due to the number of accidents and frequent near misses at the intersection. It is a major crossroad for tourists heading to the region over the summer months as well as locals. The petition will need 10,000 signatures before it can be tabled in Parliament.
Campsites have continued to multiply at the jetty foreshore in Coffs Harbour. The state MP has urged the city to find a solution for the land they want to buy while the homeless have nowhere else to go.
Homeless shelters keep growing in number and free campers still find their way to Coffs Jetty foreshores. While State Rail asked city rangers to police camping 11 months ago, this still hasn't been resolved.
The tenure and ownership of that land has recently transferred between different state government departments. So now Property and Development New South Wales own a chunk of that land.
Just last week, local councillors decided to offer the state 2 CBD blocks in exchange for this land.
What that will mean is, though, that council will have to put additional resources into patrolling that area with their rangers. And I would say to them, work closely with the government to come up with a solution that works now as well.
In a statement, City General Manager Natalia Cowley says they are yet to receive a response from Gurmesh Singh to a request for clarification in February, saying they have contacted the new owners about the free camping. But none of this solves the plight of the homeless camped here.
This is the only place where, we can stay, where we feel safe.
I was very disappointed recently when the New South Wales Labor government cancelled the Argyle Street project. That would have created a couple of hundred additional homes in Coffs Harbour, which helps with the homelessness issue.
Living in all weather under canvas is a last resort for people in hard times.
There's a lot of troubled people here with mental health, as I got myself, I suffer from depression, PTSD.
Claire Simmons, 7 News.
North Coast students have walked off the job today, skipping school to strike for urgent action on climate change. They're hoping their message will be heard by those in power, saying if they don't fight, then change won't happen.
Marching through the main street of Byron, the message these students are sending is loud and clear. Today's planned protest is one of 10 registered across the country, part of the global school strike for climate movement inspired by Swedish schoolgirl Greta Thunberg. Now in its 5th year, students are asking the government to stop the use of fossil fuels and transition to renewable energy.
If we don't fight for it now, there won't be much for us later, so this is the time to stand up.
No more gas, no more oil, keep our carbon in the soil.
Local organiser and Year 10 Byron Bay High student Alani Field says her aim in hosting the event is to give young people hope.
We can't vote, so I think this is a powerful thing to do, to try and make a difference and bring the community together.
And it's showing that in Byron Bay we care as well.
Some parents joining in on the action to support their children.
Yeah, I'm a very proud dad and I'm really glad she wanted to come here today.
New South Wales Department of Education has said students were expected to attend school as it was a regular school day.
School is obviously very important for us young people. It's our future, it's our education. We don't want to have to go out of school to learn about climate action. We want it in school. So
Claire Morton, 7 News.
A long-standing family business in Port Macquarie has been given a lifeline, joining forces with industry experts. Casey Grain Wines has announced a new milestone just months after entering voluntary administration.
A new start for a much-loved local producer on the Mid-North Coast. The award-winning winery has joined forces with industry experts and investors in a new joint venture that is set to save a Mid-North Coast icon.
Avenue Vigneron is the name, but we're trading as Casey Grain Wines. Everything's still staying Casey Grain Wines, including all the staff and all the wines, of course. So it's really exciting.
After years of challenges, including bushfires, COVID and Chinese tariffs, Casey Grain Wines announced they'd filed for voluntary administration in June. Now the amalgamation between Bail Defence Directors, the Managing Director of Binmint and the Chairman of Horizons Golf Course means a promise of growth and innovation.
They love the business and they want to see it prosper, and so their knowledge and their experience, coupled with our traditions and what we've been doing, is just going to be onwards and upwards.
Delivering the same product that restaurants and wine lovers have been favouring for years. Whalebone Wharf has served their wine for more than a decade.
Cassegrain's been here for many years, and so they've got a nice variety of wines that suits our dishes into the restaurants. So, yeah, and the customers love it.
The community support has been fantastic, and we want to give back to the community again and really, look after our customers.
Plus, there'll be a new restaurant at the winery, and the company is looking towards more events aimed at the local community. Their fans couldn't be happier.
Here we are, relaunch of Cassegrain. It's absolutely wonderful.
Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
Kirsty joins us now with a look at our Friday weather. And Kirsty, it was fairly unsettled up and down the coast today.
Yeah, it has been, Maddie. Nick, good evening to you both, and hello everyone. Showers and storms moved through the region early this morning. 5 millimetres of rain fell in Taree and 11 millimetres in Foster, with around 4 to 6 millimetres between Kempsey, Port Macquarie and further north to Coffs Harbour. Those showers continued this morning for these southern regions as well, with cloudy but dry conditions this morning in the north. Now, that was until a band of storms crossed through inland regions, including Grafton, Yamba, up towards Evans Head. Casino around the northern rivers has recorded 13 millimetres since 9 a.m, and winds were incredibly strong across the day too. Lismore in the northern rivers recording 60 km/h southeasterly wind gusts. We had quite a high humidity, up about 80% as well, thanks to the warm weather but also the moisture in the atmosphere. Now, storms are possible tonight in the northeast. We could see the chance of severe storms developing. That is ahead of showers forecast through early next week. A little bit of more settled weather on the way for the weekend. I'll have a look at that whole forecast a little later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kirsty. We'll see you soon.
Still to come in 7 News, local charity Ozfish calls on fishers to clean up popular spots.
And the Bangalow show gets underway with a focus on wood chopping and farm animals.
And a little later on this news hour, some bombshell admissions over the mass outage as the Optus boss is grilled by a Senate inquiry. 4 people arrested over an interstate crime spree in a stolen car. And the new laws imposed on asylum seekers released from immigration detention. That's all soon.
The agricultural pursuits of Bangalow were on full display in the Northern Rivers today. The first day of the annual Bangalow show marked by prize-winning cattle, show jumping and some impressive woodworking skills too. A soft launch offering a taste of what's to come tomorrow when up to 3,000 people are expected to pass through the gates. The annual show is now in its 125th year.
Bangalow has changed. It used to be a complete agricultural area and now it's not. So we want to keep that live.
Tomorrow's schedule starts at the showground from 6 a.m, culminating in a fireworks show at 8:30.
Well, some of the waste which pollutes our waterways comes from recreational fishers. So charity Ozfish is calling on fishers to turn out to clean up days at some popular fishing spots.
No one likes to see rubbish like bikes and plastic waste in our waterways, but sadly, while everyone is responsible for disposing of rubbish properly, no one seems responsible for picking it up.
This litter coming out of the gutters goes into our waterways and then affects our marine life and then gets pushed out to the ocean.
While stormwater runoff is part of the problem, fishers also share blame. Conservation charity Ozfish restores waterway health.
Ozfish Unlimited stepped up after the Black Summer bushfires to help us restore the Nimboida River that was being impacted by ash flow. And that caused a lot of damage to the riparian zone, which in turn caused fish kills.
Ozfish wants volunteers to join a Boambi Creek clean-up tomorrow.
It'd be best you bring your hat and sunscreen, preferably bring a bag and some gloves.
Free lures also available for anyone surrendering the now illegal Opera House yabby traps implicated in kills of platypus. Volunteers welcome from 9 a.m. tomorrow at Boambi Creek Boat Ramp off Hogburn Drive. Claire Simmons, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News, North Coast cricketers start their country championship campaign in Tamworth.
And a CrossFit-inspired fundraiser to help buy equipment never seen before.
Welcome back. More than 100 athletes will take training to a new level tomorrow when they ski, row and ride to raise money for cancer. Calories for Cancer is an initiative created by local businesses to support the Hastings Cancer Trust.
Burning calories for cancer. HEM Real Estate has joined forces with CrossFit 2444 to raise funds for the Hastings Cancer Trust in an event that's sure to be a body and lung buster.
Between 30 businesses, we've been able to raise $26,000. Each business has bought what we refer to as a machine, so a bike, rower or ski, and yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable tomorrow.
The teams of 4 will push themselves for an hour and a half.
They'll each try to burn as many calories as possible in the 90 minutes, interchanging as and when they like. So a little bit of suffering in the name of a good cause.
The businesses have been inspired by the Hastings Cancer Trust, where every cent goes into the Mid-North Coast and the people that have battled cancer that they've known along the way.
There's a few people coming tomorrow that are participating that have been directly affected, and even if you're not directly affected, you're indirectly affected, by knowing those people.
The money raised will help to fund a state-of-the-art endobronchial ultrasound technology that has never before been available on the Mid-North Coast.
It is really a game changer, because what it's actually doing is it will expedite diagnosis, because people won't have to organise to go and see specialists in Newcastle or Sydney or Gold Coast, Brisbane, and get what they need done sooner rather than later.
The event kicks off at 7:30 tomorrow at CrossFit 2444, and spectators can even donate on the day. Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
North Coastal were handed the difficult task of facing Greater Illawarra at today's Country Championships in Tamworth. The focus shifting from 20 overs to 50 overs for some of the state's best bush cricketers.
The team to beat at the Country Championships. Last year's victors, Newcastle, looking to make it 5 in a row.
Yeah, we're really looking to just hit the ground running today, and a bit of a fresh start for us.
Whilst they may be opponents today, they could soon be teammates. On the line is a spot in the New South Wales country team. Central North had a challenge at number 1 oval. Stop the Bush Blues skipper, Nick Foster.
Yeah, it's obviously a pretty proud thing for myself and anyone else who gets to represent New South Wales country. I've been lucky enough to do it for a number of years now. And
Central North won the toss and came in with a plan.
Yeah, I think we take it to them. I think if we be reserve and try and play our game and don't challenge them, I think that's where they get on top and they really dominate that type of cricket.
Yesterday, the new T20 competition was a difficult challenge for Central North and Newcastle. But both teams are more confident in the one-day format.
Yeah, I think this format suits us a lot better. We have a lot of traditional batsmen, so our top order is going to really thrive on this type of cricket.
Across town at Riverside, North Coastal took on yesterday's Country Bash winners, Greater Illawarra. They were trying to stop their momentum heading into a long weekend of cricket.
Illawarra, I think they're a fairly energetic, young sort of squad, so they'll be up for it, obviously. And for us, it's just about starting well with minimal loss.
But one of the biggest challenges for all teams is managing fatigue until Sunday.
3 days of cricket is tough off the back of a T20 comp. So hopefully, we're all fit and we can, reassess, tomorrow morning after we get through today.
Max Gent, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News, Kirsty's in with your local weekend weather forecast. See you next.
Welcome back, everyone. Some patchy cloud along the coast this weekend before showers arrive early next week. Before we get to our weather, though, let's take a look at what's happening on the water. For surfers on the north coast, a southerly swell becoming southeasterly, around 2 to 5 feet for Byron Bay. In Lennox Head, we could see that swell reach 8 feet, and similar conditions for Ballina's North Wall. On the mid-north coast, swells up to around 8 feet for Coffs Harbour, but reducing to around 2 to 4 feet for both Port Macquarie and further south at Foster. For the boaters and fishers on the north coast, seas up to 2 metres with winds becoming southeast to easterly around 10 to 20 knots. Further south we'll see similar conditions, winds north to northeasterly during the second half of the day around 10 to 15 knots, and seas also around 1 to 2 metres. And onto our synoptic chart now. A high pressure system lying over the southwest of the state will promote mostly dry and stable weather for the weekend, while a low pressure trough sits over northern New South Wales, triggering showers and storms. Another trough is developing through Queensland, and it will track south into northern New South Wales through the weekend, delivering widespread rain into next week. Along the coast, between 30 and 65 millimetres is forecast at this stage. We're expecting some of the heaviest showers on Wednesday. There is still the chance of thunderstorms well into mid-next too, and heavier rainfall totals, particularly if severe storms develop. Onto our weekend now. We are expecting a mostly sunny and settled Saturday tomorrow across the coast, under mostly blue skies, a little bit of scattered cloud developing. Winds east to northeasterly around 15 to 20 kilometres an hour, with maximum temperatures hovering around the low to high 20s. Byron Bay, some windy weather, 24, and Evans Head, 26. Offshore tomorrow, southerly to southeasterly winds around 10 to 20 knots. We are also expecting a southerly swell becoming east to southeasterly at around Byron Bay. Sea heights around 1 to 1.5 metres. On to Sunday, another clear and sunny morning, but that is ahead of increasing cloud cover and the possible chance of a storm. Kempsey jumping to 27 and Wauchope 28 degrees. Those winds light in the morning, increasing speed during the day up to 35 kilometres, particularly for the south. Into Monday, though, we'll then start to see that cloud become more widespread. A very windy day, especially around the northern rivers. Remaining dry around Kempsey, Taree and Port Macquarie, with showers increasing around the northern rivers. Byron Bay could see up to 3 millimetres. Around Evans Head and Tweed Heads, we could see up to 7 millimetres. Wet weather increasing further next week. We'll have all those details on Monday. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, have a great weekend. That's what I'm trying to say. Thanks, Kirsty.
And that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, 7plus.
Right now, Dan's got your national news. Enjoy your night. We'll see you on Monday at 6 o'clock.